this computer.
And with this, we check in. It's an entire protocol, and yeah, you can find it on the internet. The whole protocol. We check in and check out.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay, so now we're back to sharing the screen. Okay, so now let's go to the mural, and we're going to do this several times, Irina. But tell me what your, not you, but all of y'all, as we say down south, what your questions, issues, or concerns are. We've talked about it some already, Cosmin, when you weren't there. But your questions, issues, concerns may have changed already. But at least try to document them. So we're going back to the mural, which is, at least for me, you guys can do it through your browser. In fact, why don't you go through your browser and open up and go into that mural? Well, no, let me show you. I'm sorry, let me show you how to get there, because particularly Cosmin has not done it. So I'm sharing the screen, Cosmin, so you should be also, if you can, excuse me, not that one, this one. Okay, so there's the mural we were looking at before, but you go back out through this, you might call it door, and I'm back in the room. So that tells me the name of the room. And I want you to go to this one. Well, it's called Mural 1. Okay, so here we're doing, now if I do hit the letter X, Irina, and then I move my cursor over here, it suddenly becomes bigger, right? You can see it? If I hit the letter X first, and then it becomes bigger so I can see it. It's like a magnifying glass, kind of. It makes my cursor a magnifying glass. Okay, so you want to go there. All three of you are there. So let me go closer. I can also do it this way by hitting that little thing. Okay, so questions, issues, concerns, right? So below it, you can just double click. Don't click that one, but double click here, and it will become, well, I can change it to being like a 3x3, and then I can make it smaller by shrinking it, and then I can change the color by making it to make it a yellow one. Okay, so now you can copy those if you want to, or you can go over here. You see this gray bar? You can go over here and click that, and then pick that one and put it over there. So either way you want to do it, find a sticky and write an idea, a question, an issue, or concern. So let's give you a couple minutes to do that. Like, I don't know, let's do it. Let's go for 2 minutes. So think about those things and then just put them up there. Oops. You can do Control-C, Control-V also. Oh, and I'll unshare now because you're all there. So I'm on the mural with you, but I'm not sharing it.
So questions, issues, or concerns about the
that's a good question.
Remote working, or
about remote working and remote collaboration,
mm-hmm.
and maybe remote education. Depends on which way you want to focus more. But yes, all of those, any of those. Yes, I should have said what the topic was. Yeah, indeed.
Control-D works very, very well for duplicating items in
yes, indeed. Indeed.
I just press it by from the habit of using it in the Microsoft Office tools, and it works here too. So that's a nice addition to this tool.
Ooh, somebody's got a big one over here. Ooh, that's a big one. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, so Irina's trying to decide the third one she's going to say.
I'm pink, if nobody noticed. I chose.
I'm also pink. Yes, I'm the same.
So I'm going to make you a different color than pink, Daniel.
Yeah, it's okay.
She gets to have pink first. We'll make you the light green.
I expected you to get pink as well.
Yeah, who'd have guessed that he'd go for pink first? Okay, Cosmin, I don't see some of yours. And you can change the color if you want to, Daniel. I'll just change it for you.
Yeah. Kicked me out because I needed to confirm my account on Mural, so now I'm back.
Okay. So give us one. We'll wait for you to give us one. And that'll give Irina time to write 2 new ones. Look at Cosmin. Okay. So Cosmin, I'm going to shrink yours a little bit, which is okay.
Please do.
So
In
all you do
reality,
is you see that little blue thing, right? You just, I'm not sure you can see it, but if you were looking at my screen, you could see it. I've selected the thing and it has a little blue dot in the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't finish it. So for that reason,
Oh, okay.
I
Go ahead and
didn't
finish.
join
I'm
it.
sorry. You can still write there and make it bigger if you want to.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Okay, okay. Okay, so let's start. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer and I'll start to read them. Oops, closer, not further away. Okay, so Irina is saying making yourself understood. So how do you mean that, Irina? Making yourself understood?
I mean, when you're in front of a crowd, you basically explain when you lecture, let's say, explain new concepts or things. It's easier to make yourself understood. I don't know. I have that feeling when you're in such a virtual room with many people, not just 4, let's say, who you can see their faces like you do with us now.
Yes.
It's probably you can still see if people are frowned or I understand, I don't get it, and so on.
Yes.
But when it's 20, 30 people, that's a lot more difficult to do.
It is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, so you have to keep them, well, not necessarily engaged, but their interest. But at the same time, you have to you have to lecture them about some concepts that they've never heard before, potentially, or are difficult to understand.
Yes. And you might want to
basically transmit the information as best as possible so people get it, and you don't lecture too much.
You try to lecture less. Yes, you certainly try to lecture less. Absolutely. Okay, very good. So I got that one. Keeping people engaged, interested. I think you just talked about that. I can't quite see that. Go from groups to subgroups and the other way around. Yes.
And don't create chaos.
Yeah. So you're not going to be able to, I'm going to take you into a breakout room, but since there's only 3 of you, it won't have the same effect. But at least you'll see that I go away, you go into the breakout room, I go away. So you get the feeling of how that works here in Zoom, which is kind of what you're getting at there, right? Okay, so let's see what ones Daniel had. Daniel said, be aware.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Be aware. Don't question. It's reading the room. It's the same. When you explain something, you feel if someone doesn't pay attention or didn't understand something like this. So yeah.
Yes. So this technique of using Mural to let everybody do stickies is a quick way of gathering all the questions. They can all add questions at the same time. And then you can pick and choose amongst the questions that you want to address. Or you'll find a lot of similarities between the questions.
Yeah, but it's somehow asynchronous. Even in the real life, we use sticky notes to park questions that are not, I don't know, related with the topic. But if you discuss something and you want to understand more because you didn't understand and it's important in that moment, is more difficult. You can raise the hand, but it's not the same.
Yes. In general, if it's a smaller group, Irina, I recommend that you raise your hand like this in the screen, and then everybody can see everybody, and then it's much more human. There is a technique where you can give a reaction. So I can do, I'm not sure, I can do a little hand like that. You see that in my window, right? And you did that? Or I can take it away, I think. I'm not sure how do I take it away? I used to know how to do that. Oh, it goes away. It goes away after a little bit of time.
It goes away,
I believe. And just so you know, in Zoom, I don't quite have the same ones that you have for whatever purpose. There's another way to do it through chat. Maybe I'll talk about that later. But you do like to get the reactions. And it's as you and Irina are kind of saying, the bigger the group, it's more difficult. So you might want to think about limiting the group to only 16, 20, something like that, some number like that. So it becomes more manageable. Okay, so what else did you say, Daniel? I'm going back to.
It's multiple people working on a big canvas, and it's important to see all the information because it's not looking on one part and the other part.
Yes.
To have the big picture. In reality, you can have this on a small screen is very, very difficult.
Yes.
Even on this board, you have to navigate on the board to see part of them.
Quite so. Quite so. And so that maybe gives an incentive to give them bigger screens if you can. But it's certainly you got to accommodate that. You know, wherever big their screen is, it's not going to be as big as a whiteboard on a wall in a real room, in a co-located room. So but at least it's similar. I'm impressed. I have to say, Daniel, I'm impressed that this is more similar to that kind of a thing. Once you get used to it, it's similar, but it's different. But it's still, it accomplishes a lot of the same goals fairly quickly. I thought that was not going to be possible when I first started getting into this. And you all have used Miro a little bit, right? I don't know it as well, but I know of it, and it's supposed to have a lot of the same features. I think you have, right? Didn't you say that, Miro?
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Okay, so we got some. Oh, whoops, sorry, Kazmin. Let's go to yours. So he's got 2 or 3 now. Okay, so the one at the top I have is prerequisites for virtual discovery workshops with people that don't know you, and they were escalated, so to speak.
Escalated, yeah.
Ah, whoa. Okay, and then politics. Yikes. Well, that was an easy question.
Sorry.
So do you all know you guys know about his experience, and you're already imagining what he means by that? Or Irina, do you know what he's talking about?
No.
Okay, so give us a little bit of background. What do you mean by that?
So you want to start of an engagement, discovery workshop.
With the external client.
External client, yeah.
Okay.
With the external client, a partner, yeah, and
partner, yes.
Yeah, you have the workshops with different parts of the company. People added there. Some people were delegated there, so they didn't knew anything, or they are forced to be there. Also, politics. Let's put in the context of merger between 2 companies, but you still need to, let's say, have a discovery workshop, gather requirements, agree on the scope, align to the strategy and stuff like that.
Yes.
And you need to do it virtually because now, you cannot do it anymore.
So
that's an easy one.
That's an easy one, exactly. Not.
So what would be the prerequisites?
Here's my point of view. We're going to talk about this several times, but let me just have one quick reaction, which is that if they're not really wanting to collaborate, you can do any of these tricks you want to, and it ain't going to help that much. But the more that you can get them motivated to want to collaborate, or the more you can do these tricks and somehow they get drawn in, then it will become better and better. But none of these things are a panacea, particularly not a single one. And then even collectively, I don't think they're not going to guarantee anything. And I don't know, you almost said this, Daniel, but I'm putting words in your mouth a little bit. I do think it would be somewhat easier, although still not guaranteed, if you were in person. It would be a little bit easier to develop a relationship that they would go along with a little bit better. But I do think you can do a fair amount even though you're not in person with them. And that once you learn these techniques, it becomes a lot better than you thought it might be. So I don't know, does that help a little bit to say that? That's my opinion. It's only opinion. It's not convincing to you necessarily until you experience. Yeah. Fair enough. And I totally agree that with politics, with people, there's nothing that's a silver bullet that's going to magically make things just the way you want them. Okay, so let's move on for now. We'll come back to some more of these later. But let me go back to the slides. So we've got some things. We'll come back to them, and we addressed a few of them. Okay, so I do recommend the personal introduction thing. I think. So I guess if you don't mind just saying the answers to these quickly. So I think you've already told me the role, Daniel, but if you don't mind, so it's Daniel. What's your role, Daniel? How would you describe it?
Okay. I'm Scrum Master.
Okay, and then you're all with Endava. Are you with the same clients?
No, different clients.
Than Irina and Kazmin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And how long have you been with Endava?
More than 10 years.
More than 10. Uh-oh. Exactly. I've got 20 plus years of experience, Irina. I don't go above 20. So I'm just teasing myself. Okay, and then your current team does it have a name or whatever?
Current team, I don't work for a client. I work with Cosmin and Irina and those guys.
That team.
Usually we are half. We have 50%
Yes.
for this team and 50% for the
exactly.
the other
For the
engagements.
clients, for multiple clients. Is what we said last time.
One client, one client at a moment, but in time different clients.
Oh, I see. Now I see better. Okay.
So basically, we're 50%. The guys are 50% on commercial projects, so external clients, and 50% in this team we call Growing Agility team, which basically is focused on the internal trainings and growing agility within the organization.
Yes. And so I'm getting it better, Irina. We talked about this before, but I'm now understanding it a little better than I did. I remember reflecting after we talked. I remember reflecting, and like, oh, it's different than I expected. And now you're reminding me of the conversations, and I'm putting it all together a bit better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're doing outsourcing. So basically, we all do delivery for our clients.
Yes. How long have the three of you, or this team, this growing agility team, how long has that been together? Irina.
The Growing Agility team started, I think, 3 years ago under this name, but we are all Agile champions in Endava for more than that.
Oh.
So we've met each other, we've seen each other in many circumstances. I had the opportunity to actually work with Cosmin for the same client a while ago. So we know each other pretty well. But in this Growing Agility, I think it's been 3 years since the team exists, with ins and outs from either of us. For example, I was gone from Endava for a year, tried my own startup, and I think Cosmin joined the Growing Agility team a year and a half ago, and Daniel maybe even earlier than that. In and out again, because we are in between commercial projects and doing these.
Okay, I get it. Yes, you had a little bit different picture, which totally makes sense to me, but I'm now seeing a little bit different picture. Okay, Cosmin, how would you answer? Well, what role would you give yourself, Irina?
Well, I've done a lot of roles. Senior project manager, probably the one that I've done most. Agile project managers, whatever.
Okay. And Cosmin, how would you respond to these?
Let's say my name is Cosmin.
Yes.
Roles, what it's needed to, let's say, make a delivery successful and happy clients and happy end customers.
Okay.
Currently, I'm agile coach, and with, let's say, with my clients, I'm delivery lead, let's say a senior project manager on 4 streams that I've started now, plus one that it's in build mode and 2 others that will come. So growing fast. Yeah.
And how long have you been with Endava?
Almost 6 years, 5 years and a half, and so on.
Okay.
2 or 6. Yeah.
And are you with one team now? One other team aside from the growing agility team?
Except that I'm working for a client where I have 4 streams that are starting now. They're in discovery mode and
4 streams.
And 2 others that are in execution mode.
Okay, very good. That gives me a little bit of an idea. And what I'm saying here, Irina, also is this is what I'm recommending that you do. You do something like this when you're doing a workshop or something with the clients. You make it more personal. You let people get to know each other. Okay, so and whoops, that's a typo. So
yeah, but this is also if you have time. But if they're available to you only for 2 hours or 1 hour.
Yes, you got to do it quickly. You got to do it quickly, and sometimes avoid it.
Do it quickly, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, whoops, what happened here? There was something else there.
The hackers.
This happened a bunch. Yikes. This happened a bunch. I had somebody help me with the pictures, but it looks like they edited it more than I wanted them to. What is this now? Okay, just a second. Excuse me. I may have to work on this at the break. Now it's I'm discombobulated a little bit. So, oh, your situations and uses. Okay. So we've talked about the situations and uses before. I'm back on this one, right? So this is situations and uses. We talked about that for some, Cosmin, with when we had a meeting before. But what dimensions would be useful for me to know? That's even a question for me, Daniel. I'm not even sure how to ask the right questions to understand your situation better quickly. As you pointed out, Cosmin, I got to do it quickly. So I think I've got a pretty good idea. Maybe we can skip this one, but we want to, try to, at least I want to, the better I understand your situation. So to me, Irina, what I took away is two situations. You've got to run workshops with your clients of different sorts, but very commonly an initial workshop to lay out the project. You got to do that kind of workshop. And also you want to do trainings with your Endava associates. Those are the two main, I'll call them two main use cases, right? And that they had different numbers of people. So the client work might have, I've forgotten now the numbers, but maybe even 20 people. Whereas the workshops you can control a little bit better, I think. How many people there typically?
Workshops with clients, well, depending from 20 people to 200 people. If it's a PA planning.
Yes. Yeah, that's a lot of people. Okay. And right now everybody's dispersed. Building training, doing workshops. Okay. So, and then I use the phrase, you see there, the phrase, the real team. So that implies to me, Cosmin, that everybody's bought in, that everybody's committed to being with this team and is actually motivated to want to make this successful. And I find in real life that doesn't happen regularly. It's often they're not really a real team. They're kind of a team, and you're trying to get them to really want to be what I call a real team. So that's why I say, how much are they a real team? And so I won't go into that right now with all the different examples you have, but to me, it's a key issue.
But how can you form a real team very fast and virtual?
Okay, so this is key attitudes. Golly, how did this happen? Okay. So how do you? I'm gonna talk about that more later. But I think one of the key things is the product owner has to articulate the vision in a compelling way. So I'm looking sideways because that's where your picture is. Let me look more at the camera. The product owner, it's really important. I think one of the key things that people don't do is the product owner has to articulate the vision in a very compelling way. And maybe that means that somebody from Endava, maybe you, and I think I understand from what we talked about before that often the product owner is from the client, from the partner, right? So their ability to be a good product owner is, I can imagine at least, varying a lot. Sometimes they're a pretty good product owner. Sometimes you go like, this is sketchy. So you've got to work with them and get them to do the best job that they can do to articulate why this is such a compelling set of work to work on. And sometimes in real life, it just isn't that compelling. It's just, it has to get done, but it's not exciting at all. But so you can put those kind of aside, because sometimes you just got to, suck it up and do the work. But it should be usually that this is pretty important work, pretty high priority for the client, pretty high priority for us because we care about the client. And so if they express it well, Cosmin, then people get more motivated. Now, another key thing that to me is they're all human beings. This is a key thing all the time I'm saying this to you, one way or the other. They're all human beings and they're all different. So you and or the product owner has to appeal to each person and from their point of view in terms of things that they personally care about. And not everybody's going to care about this project or that project or that project. So sometimes you got to make a choice and say, Joe, you shouldn't be on this project. This is not, you don't find this kind of work interesting. These other people do, but you don't. Let me help you get a transfer to a different team where you're doing work that you would really like to do. So I really recommend thinking about that. It's not a very common thing that companies do, but I recommend thinking about that. It's so important to have your people motivated. And then if they are motivated, then they will help them become a great team, or at least a real team. I hesitate to use the word great, but at least a lot more effective a team than they would otherwise have been. So great, I'm really, that's really, really good. But they can become a lot better team with that motivation and that wanting to be a real team. And it can make a big difference. I don't know, does that help a little bit? It's a bunch of platitudes, but I think you can imagine taking action on them. Right? Easy for me to say, isn't it, Irina? Not so easy for you guys to do in real life, particularly when you're not.
This is difficult to do in face-to-face. I mean, if you don't have the remote thingy.
Exactly. But so here's one key message also. Even though you're remote, don't give up. These things are not impossible when you're remote. They are harder. I grant you that they're harder. You're absolutely right about that. But if you keep at it and make it personal, they become a lot less hard. But as you say, Rena, it's well said. Even if you're face to face, making these things happen can be hard, or even impossible. It won't happen, except by moving somebody out of the team. Okay, so I hope that helped a little bit, Cosmin. You ask an easy question. That's why I gave you the not so good answer. It's not as good as I would want anyway. Okay, so key attitudes about this kind of stuff, this remote stuff, I'll call it, Daniel. So, and the first comment is just, let's review some quickly. So I think the attitudes that you all bring to it are at least as important, or if not more important, than the specific tools or techniques. You've got to bring the right attitude. And of course, positive is one of them. Accepting that you're going to have trouble as you try to be remote, distributed, whatever you want to call it. And then having sympathy, first of all, for yourself. There's a lot of research that says doing this remote stuff is very tiring. So the fact that you go home at night feeling tired sometimes, more than you used to, is not just because you're not getting as much exercise. It's because, I'll call it, the way I understand it, Cosmin, from what I've read, it's psychologically tiring to sit here and stare at boxes and faces all day. Even if you like them, Irina, it's still tiring, right?
Yeah.
And it's not as human as, holding your, how old is your daughter, Daniel?
It's okay. She's sleeping now.
I know, but how old is she?
How old? She's 1 year and a half.
Yes. So it doesn't have that same warmth of holding your baby, Cosmin. It's never going to be that way because it's remote. So in that sense, it's tiring. Whereas you hold your own child, man, the right day, it gives you a lot of energy. Okay, so have sympathy for yourself, have sympathy for them, I think is a key attitude. And then just sort of this willingness, I'm going to figure out how to overcome this barrier. It's kind of a barrier between us in a certain way, but I'm going to try to make us almost believe that it doesn't even exist. We're going to figure out a way to overcome the problems of it. So I think those are key attitudes. I think I've got a couple more where'd it go? Where am I? Right here. I'm here. Okay. Then the work itself and the goal are important. So we have to believe that, as we were just talking about, Cosmin. We have to kind of, I don't know, inspired is pretty dramatic, but we've got to think that the work and the goal are important. And the people with us need to think that, I think. Then we need to help each other. So we've got to, I hope we have that attitude. Well, we've kind of said this before, right? We've got to find a way. Some way or another, we're going to make this, whatever needs to happen, we're going to make it happen. And then we need to show that so one is to have the emotion of caring. The other is we need to show in some way, maybe through humor, that we care about each other despite the off-putting nature of the technology. So I think that's important. And then having a couple of laughs, Irina. Sometimes you have to bring the dog in and then the dog makes some tricks, everybody starts laughing. But do something that gives it a little bit of humor, Cosmin. At least I recommend. Yeah. Okay, so those are some attitudes. What are your thoughts? Any other attitudes that you all think should be?
You forgot to mention there to offer beer.
Yes. Exactly.
I've noticed there is this practice. Everyone is going out for beers or wine or stuff like that at
over
end
Zoom.
Of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes they have the Zoom cocktails. Cosmin. So you can have the Zoom beers. Everybody brings their stein or whatever, and they all have a little beer time at the end of the day. I think that's important. The other thing is you got to remind yourself that not everybody likes beer. So some person might want to have wine. Somebody wants to have something else, something whatever. So you got to adapt to all the people that are involved. Anything else that's sticking out about the attitudes? Okay, enough for now. You may think of something later. So as I don't know what that title is supposed to be, but we'll leave it as it is, I guess. So none of these we already talked about this. As I said before, none of these tricks, all these tricks together won't help much if they don't really want to collaborate. Okay, so I think, Daniel, now that I've lived long enough, every culture has too much orientation towards power in business. Maybe not every culture. I think so. I'm still going to go with it. There might be a bunch of hippies out there somewhere in New Mexico who don't care about power at all. But I think a lot of us are still try to organize things in hierarchy and in terms of power. And maybe it's still necessary, but we want to diminish the impact of that. And most people don't even talk about power directly. And often when I'm with a partner, as you might say, Cosmin, I don't even talk about it. I just try to avoid getting people to go that way. I just talk about other things, and then hopefully the power thing goes away and they just collaborate. But I do think, Daniel, that the more things are organized by power, the less collaboration you're going to get. So that's why I'm trying to, it reduces the knowledge sharing, it reduces the innovation, it makes them wait until the powerful person decides, at least commonly. Okay, but you're still going to have to deal with it. It's still going to be there some. Okay, we've walked around Zoom a little bit, but let me just say a few things. It's very important to get everybody to have good audio. And one of the problems that Kathy had, well, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that she had, that we noticed, is I think it was that she didn't have enough bandwidth, Irina, and therefore she started breaking up, right? I don't know, did you hear her break up? She did briefly. Yeah. And it's going to happen some, no matter what you do, particularly with everybody in the world on the internet and doing Zooms or whatever they are. So we're going to get some breaking up a little bit, but we've got to really address that. It is so frustrating to have a very long meeting when the voice and or the video is breaking up. It's just so frustrating. It drives you mad. First of all, it's going to happen. So you got to get yourself to say, oh God, it's happening now. And you can't fully control it, but at least try to make sure that you're doing as much as you can to have really good audio, really good throughput, whatever it is, for both the audio and the video. So for example, I bought a fancy, and you don't see me with a headset, Daniel. I have one of those. It's really, really good, but I bought a fancy mic, a Blue Ice or an Ice mic. I can't remember the brand, but it's Blue Yeti. It's a little bit expensive. You don't have to do that expensive, but get a nice mic. And your mic, I think, Daniel, the headsets is very good. So in terms of the quality of the audio, it's good. But get everybody to have a good mic. Not everybody has a good mic. It makes a difference. It's worth the investment. And of course, the company should invest, or the client should invest. Obviously test the audio. Get everybody to test the audio. Then get good video that people feel comfortable with, Irina. So you may have to help them with their backgrounds because they're worried, oh my goodness, everybody's going to see that I haven't had time to clean the kitchen or whatever it is. So they're not going to want to put the video on if they feel like people are seeing my house with my dog and I haven't done anything. The place is a disaster. They're not going to feel comfortable with the video. So you got to solve these kinds of problems. So they're willing to turn the video on. We'll talk more about this later. Therefore, you see, I recommend the virtual background. Not every one of these toolkits has it. Zoom has it. Sometimes you can't get it, Irina, the virtual background, as you noticed. I don't know why that is. I haven't figured that out. It's probably in the Zoom notes, but I haven't taken the time to figure it out. There are issues with security, as that's part of the reason why you guys aren't using Zoom. I'm not sure what I meant by participants fly out. I'll forget that one. But there is so in terms of Zoom, there's a chat window, you know about that. In Zoom, I'm not sure how this, well, Zoom is the only one that I know of that has the breakout rooms. So be aware that the chat window, if you're not a host, the chat doesn't go through the walls, so to speak, into the breakout rooms. I'm not sure how much you care about that, but be aware of that if you're going to use Zoom. A little bit more about Zoom. The screen share, you can share everything, anything that you can have on a different screen, an app or a browser or something like that. You can have. We already did the recording. It does have a polling function. As you may see, I think you can see it, right? Let me move this down a little bit. Oh, I probably, before I can see the same buttons.
We cannot hear you.
You are on mute.
On mute, Joe. I'll try to unmute you.
You don't have the right.
No.
Let's see. You are on mute.
You are on
I muted
mute.
myself. Sorry.
Yes.
I got it. Sorry. And I see it now in the chat over here. Thanks. Sorry about that, Daniel. Okay, so we talked about the breakout rooms. I think they work pretty well. They're not perfect, Cosmin. I've had problems with them a little bit. Sometimes I think that a lot of people on the Zoom are using the breakout rooms, and I think it takes a lot of computing horsepower, and so occasionally they fail. But in general, they're pretty reliable. You either automatically or manually put them into a room, they go there. It's a pretty good deal. And by the way, Daniel, they've done a lot, and they're continuing to do a lot on the security of Zoom. So in a month, I'm going to be surprised if you all reviewed it and you thought the security was not good enough. I'm not sure they're quite there yet, but they're going to be there pretty soon. I think
they bought a security company. Yeah, and they try to fix
I mean,
this.
you might want to reevaluate in a month, is what I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, reactions. We talked about that. It's pretty easy to invite others. I won't go there. So enough of that stuff. Whoops, where am I now? Am I here? Okay, I'm here. Okay, so here's a key thing. Try not to get drowned in the technology. It's more important to be with them, to let them see your face and to talk to them and to let them talk to you than to be messing around with the technology endlessly. So therefore, keep the technology simple. Almost, I mean, all of you all, including your clients, are very technologically oriented. So because we're into the technology ourselves, personally, we tend to want to make the technology more elaborate, and we tend to think, I'm virtuous if I make it more technologically sophisticated. But in point of fact, people say, and I think I agree, you can disagree, but I think I agree, that the more you put technology, the lower the relationship goes. Mm-hmm. So you want to keep the technology even simpler than you can. I mean, you're going like, this doesn't have enough technology, is how you should feel. And then it's probably about the right amount. So keep it simple. Be able to see them, interact with them, as you were saying, Irina, watch their faces. They don't really care about the tool. Their brains are thinking about what they're learning or what they're doing. They don't really care about the tool and that kind of stuff. Okay, and then we said before, expect the tool to fail. Make it personal. They want to see your face. So this is one little thing. They want to see your face with the right amount of illumination. For example, I mean, I'll pick on Daniel. It's not really true for Daniel, but sometimes they have the sun coming in from the window in the back arena, right? You've probably been in a meeting where they had that. And then you can't see Daniel's face if there's a sun coming right over his shoulder, right? His face is almost, you can't see anything. You can't see any detail. So you really got to address that. Everybody should be able to see everybody's face. It's almost, I mean, the way they need to think about it, it isn't, when they don't let you see their face, they're not trying to be disrespectful. But to me, if you don't make a positive attempt to let them see your face and see it accurately, then you're being disrespectful in effect. You're trying, and you know, you psychologically at least could be trying to gain power over them. You can see and they can't see. Now, you may notice, I don't know if you can quite tell, that I've got lighting coming down from the ceiling, but I've also got lighting coming from this, from this side. Not very much. I got more lighting on this side than on this side, but the two sides are lit fairly equally. So it's not just flat. It's not flat lighting all coming straight at my face. There's a bit of shadow, but not too much shadow. So anyway, I recommend that. Now, you want to let them see the emotions in your face. You're not trying to be cool, calm, and collected. You're trying to convey emotion through that little window, Irina. I don't know, I'm not sure how big the window is for you, but for me, all 4 windows are pretty small right now. So you're trying to let them see your expressions, and your expressions with your face, a little bit with your positioning, right? Okay, so what does it mean, Irina, when I'm back like this? How do you feel when I'm back like this?
Not interested.
I'm kind of withdrawing, right?
Yeah.
I may not be Kazmin disinterested, but I'm not as pulled in. I'm not as engaged as if I'm this close, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they actually like it if you change from here to here at different times that are appropriate. So if you're really unhappy with them and you go like this, they go like, "Whoa, that was dramatic." So you don't want to be necessarily that dramatic, but if you are finished, you might want to lean back, and that tells them, Irina, that they're ready to lean in and start to say something themselves in that body language way that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different kind of body language when you just have that little bitty screen to convey yourself. And remember how much, Kazmin, you've heard the research, right? When you talk to somebody in person, how much of it is the words, the literal meaning of the words, and how much of it is what we call, as a broad brush, the body language. Do you remember hearing about this, Kazmin?
I remember something. Yeah, I remember something.
Yeah. Do you remember a number? Some numbers? I mean, I've heard different numbers, to be honest. Do you have numbers in mind, Daniel?
I would say 80-20.
Yeah, something like that. I've heard numbers like that. I've heard 85-15, but whatever. Very, very highly towards the body language. So you want to give them some body language to react to by leaning in, and then also by using your hands. So you can imagine that if your hands go like that, it starts to have a meaning. If your hands go like this, it starts to have a meaning, right? If you go like that, it has a meaning to them. So you want to learn how to use that in a dramatic way. But
your camera doesn't help you too much because we see big hands like this. So
yes,
you need to stay somewhere behind.
Exactly. So you've got to figure out how to balance that and work out a language of the hands. So I tease and call that the Italian language, because the Italians are famous for using their hands as they talk.
For talking with their hands.
For talking with their hands, exactly. So you got to learn how to do an Italian language that, first of all, you feel comfortable with, but also an Italian language that they feel comfortable with. And then your voice. You because you've got such a narrow window of communicating with them, how you use your voice, Kazmin, is even more important than usual. So the speed with which you talk, and how loudly you talk, and how quickly you talk. Well, that was the speed. But all the different, the pauses, all those little things have more meaning to them than they usually would. It's kind of like, when you're blind, everything that you can hear has much more impact. You've heard this kind of an idea before, right? Okay, so keep those things in mind.
So regarding to this on the virtual training, or should we speed down, so to speak slowly, or?
Yes, I mean, both. You should do things that gather their attention. So it'll vary based on a lot of things, right? How well the audio connection is, how well they're understanding what you're saying, all these kinds of things. And then when you want to emphasize something, you tend to do what? Say it slowly, or you say it and then pause and then say it again. So all these little, you want to, work on all these little tricks. Okay. So I'm going to give you.
How do you know how well we understand what you're saying?
Well, you have to ask them. So I'm going to test. I'm going to test.
Pick one.
I'm going to test how well the three of you have been listening to what I've been saying. We're going to do a little exercise. So you've got 1 minute to think about something. And I want you to practice. You can all three practice at the same time if you want to, or we can do it sequentially, Irina. Practice using your face, using your voice, using your hands, and doing some little tricks in the thing to say something to somebody. You can talk to me, you can talk to Kazmin, Irina, you can talk to Elizabeth. Is that her name? Isabella, similar to me at least. Isabella, excuse me, Daniel. So you can talk to anybody you want to, Irina, but you got 1 minute to think about what you want to say and maybe do with your hands or your face or your voice, and then do a little bitty practice of something. Okay, so you got time to think. Daniel's making me laugh.
I've just learned something. Just stop talking. Don't say anything because you're gonna get the homework to do.
No, it was right there on the slide. It was coming anyway, Irina. Not your fault. It's not your fault.
Okay, so I have to think of something to say, and I tried to get it to one of you guys.
And you're trying to use some of these ideas that I just suggested. And I would suggest that you actually be over dramatic. Go over the top.
That's all the way.
The only way
dramatic.
The only way to get to the right place is to go too far and then to come back. Right?
That's a good one. I remember that one.
And then you start to feel where the right place is that you feel more comfortable with. Okay, Kazmin, you get to decide who should go first.
You?
Me? I've been doing it the whole time, buddy. No, not
I'm here to learn.
Yes, it's you that needs to practice, not me. Well, maybe I need to practice too, but that's a different thing. I'm not taking the course. You guys paid. You get to do the practice. Okay, so I think he volunteered you, Daniel. That's the way I interpreted that.
Yeah. So you need you to take practice because I practice this and I do this and you pay the money.
Okay. So he's got 20 seconds, Kazmin. He's got 20 seconds more to go. Oops, there you go. Okay, go, Daniel. Keep going. He's practicing already, Daniel, Kazmin.
So yeah, it's this about. So Kazmin, pay attention. So try to express more. Try to understand and internalize, and then go outside and make us understand and feel the same emotion, because it's about the emotion and to transmit the emotion, and it's not need for us to feel it, but the audience to feel it and to be there and to motivate it and to put soul in the.
Wow, pretty good,
what we have
right?
to do.
He thought of all those things right there on the spur of the moment. I'm impressed. Okay, so we got to, stop over here. Okay, Kazmin, who should go next?
Kazmin, of course.
Kazmin, of course. Well, let's let Irina decide, Kazmin. I think that's the fair thing. Ladies, the lady gets to decide. You want to go first, or you want Kazmin to go first? Next, I mean.
I love this equity between sexes. That's fine. I'll go next.
There's no equity between sexes. It's always unfair. Whichever way you do it, it's unfair. Okay, so that's my joke. That's my little joke. Okay, you're going to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, 30 seconds. Go.
How much?
30 seconds. You can see it.
Okay, so Kazmin, I think you should do your best to be a little bit braver and sometimes go first, because even though it feels like it's hard, you might get to learn a lot from it.
Okay, and then she stopped because that was the main point, Kazmin. So even the silence was part of it. Okay, Kazmin, Guess whose turn it is now? Whose turn is it now, Cosmin?
I think Irina.
Yep. Okay, go. Go.
So I will not be able to practice the loud voice due to the
Wait.
kid that is sleeping. I'm giving you another chance to start the timer. So
Oh, okay.
okay.
I will.
So everyone should that again? Okay.
Reset. Okay, go.
So everyone should have some ice cream after.
You're talking
in the
about my
midnight.
favorite sport, eating ice cream.
Exactly. And then a nice glass of wine to be very comfortable, right? I know.
Is that
And,
before or after the?
after to sleep better. Yeah, good choice.
Okay, he made it, Daniel. He made it for 30 seconds. Okay, so what do you notice when we did that? What did you notice, Irina? What's your biggest takeaway?
It wasn't easy.
It was not easy.
But it was like copying what I would do in face-to-face.
Kind of.
So I kept thinking about, I mean, I tried to put myself in that position that we're face-to-face and I'm talking to you guys, but it wasn't easy. And I kept actually looking at my video to see how I look when I do these things instead of looking at Cosmin and see his reactions.
Yes. And it's so common, Cosmin, that we feel self-conscious because we can see our own faces up there. Dang it. And so it makes us self-conscious. And it feels awkward. It feels, when you got a stupid little computer in front of you, you go like, why am I why am I moving my hands in front of the computer? It feels kind of weird, but you've got to overcome that sense of weirdness. Okay, what was your biggest takeaway, Daniel?
Yeah, I think it doesn't help us because we're very close to the computer. But usually it's better to have a better camera and to stay a little bit away, because if you stay away, all the people thinks that you are looking to them, and it's easier to do the gestures because like right now I have to put the hands up to see them, to see my hands. So usually it's better, I don't know, to be further.
Yes.
And to do large gestures.
Yes. So there's, you bring out a lot of things that I haven't thought about enough. But for example, one thing is we have cameras now that aren't that expensive. They can either be widescreen or they can be telephoto. The telephoto will have a wider, as you maybe know from your knowledge of photography, a wider depth of field, and it'll be less distortion between the size of the hands and the size of the face. And it won't have as much, you won't feel like such a small percentage of the screen for the face. You'll get a face and a bigger percent, but you get more space for your hands. So anyway, brings in a lot of issues. Good, very good. Cosmin, what was your takeaway?
That you need to have energy and to be,
Yes.
to practice before doing different meetings, workshops, and everything.
Yes.
For
And
that subject,
it becomes easier when it's not sort of an exercise, but you're trying to really do something that you're thinking about. But always, at the same time, you're trying to remember your content, Irina, of what you're teaching or trying to say in the meeting or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Also be having, the other half of your brain thinking, am I really projecting the energy, the emotion, as Daniel called, through that screen to the other people? And not doing it in a too weird way, but in a way that shows us actually that I like them and that I'm really trying to communicate with them. So it's tricky that way. Okay, we've gone over a little bit more than an hour. Let's take a 8-minute break. Cosmin will have time to have both his beer and his ice cream. And then we'll come back in 8 minutes. So I'll see you all in 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
Is everybody back? Is everybody back, Cosmin? For a second,
It depends.
It depends. Who's back, huh? Did you
Myself, I.
Did you get your beer and your ice cream?
No.
Which one?
I like wine more in the last period versus beer.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I'm thinking, Daniel, that Cosmin was so involved watching Irina that he forgot that his face was being recorded the whole time by the camera that's going to be in the videotape later. What do you think, Irina? Did he forget?
Did he stay on with video?
Did he forget that he was being videoed the whole time?
I'm sure he did, yes.
He forgot. Okay. So do you all see this picture that I've got of this finger, this hand coming into? So I really think drawing, like as we do on the whiteboard, if we're co-located, right? We just get on the whiteboard and we start drawing, right? So this drawing is a very useful thing for conversations, for collaboration, for workshops, for working with clients, for working with partners. So I want to show you what I do as a simple example, right? So I have an iPad Pro that you can almost kind of see, right? I share the content. Oops, I've got to unshare this. Excuse me for a second. I've got to stop the share here. Then I hit this. I'm in the Zoom app on the iPad. Then I hit screen. Then I hit start broadcast. Then I have this app called Paper. You can do other apps. I happen to like Paper, but there are other apps on the iPad Pro. It's a pretty good size. It's like a 12 or 13 inch. I'm not sure, Daniel, but that size of iPad. Do you all? Yeah, you know what I mean. Is that an iPad? I can't quite tell. Yes. Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the same. Yeah. So I do this Paper app, and then it has about. Have you seen the Paper app? I think it's free. Anyway, you get your Apple Pencil, and then you've got this, and then you open it up. Oh, whoops. Then you can click on it and give it a color, just for fun, Irina. Which color? The pink?
Yeah.
I thought Irina might like pink, Daniel. It was just an idea I had. Cosmin says I was correct. Okay, then we open it up, and I can start to draw. Okay, so I wanted to distinguish between two things. One is you've got a person here and a person here. Let's imagine they're distributed. But the conversation between the two of them is one kind of problem. That's not too tough. It's certainly a kind of problem. I think it's not that tough. We can make that work pretty well. I'm sure we can make it work better. But then we've got a different kind of problem. Imagine that we have, I don't know, I'm not going to draw that many circles, but I'm going to draw 4 circles, Cosmin, for people that really represents, let's say, 8 people. So we got a circle here, a circle here, a circle here, and a circle here, right? So we want these people that are all separated, maybe even by time zones, Irina. Could a person who thinks it's about 3:15 be experiencing their day differently than a person who thinks it's about 10:15 p.m. and they've been playing with their child all day? All evening. It could feel a little bit different, couldn't it? You could imagine. Okay, but anyway, so this is a different kind of problem. Trying to get the 8 of them, or the 10, or the 12, or the 20, whatever, to work together, interact together, and to collaborate together. So I think it's a notably different problem. So, but my main point here, Cosmin, is not this picture or even this idea. My main point is the famous one that pictures, a picture says 1,000 words. So this ability for each of us, even if we're bad at drawing, and I'm not very good at all, and bad at writing, so you can almost read what I'm saying, right? Even if you're not very good, it's very compelling in terms of being able to convey the ideas, as you were saying, Irina, right? Now, do you all use something like this already? What do you use for this kind of a thing?
Yeah, we use.
You use iPad?
Use the tablet, yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is This is no news to you at all. Okay, I thought it might be some news. A lot of people don't know about this idea, and that it's fairly easy to make it happen within the context of Zoom. So this is all going through the Zoom umbrella, so to speak, as a shared app. But you're doing this already as a shared app in whatever, in Cisco WebEx or something? Okay, so this is not big news. Never mind, I'm sorry. I thought this might be a little bit of news for you all. A little bit of help. It's not that much fun to tell people what they already know.
I don't use it. My husband, he's in IT as well, and the first thing he did when we found out that we have to work from home was to buy a tablet and do exactly what you've just done.
Yes.
So, but I haven't used it.
Yes. I think it's very effective. I think it's if you don't do it for too long, it's very engaging. They're sitting there with the mystery of what are you going to write on the board next, and they
then it helps a lot to convey your ideas, especially when you talk. You don't speak in your native language. That's another thing, another barrier, let's say.
Yes.
So it helps a lot.
I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so I'm going back to the slide deck.
Yeah. I also use it as a second monitor, so you can connect using the cable and.
Yes, yes. I'm connecting through Wi-Fi into the Zoom cloud. But you're right. I can also connect to this laptop and do it that way, and it's connected to the laptop through the wire.
It's an application dual.
And you can do AirPlay and there's other things. There's all kinds of complexities. But the main thing is the idea of having the drawing. And I think I understand that what do they call it? The Surface, the Microsoft Surface, is pretty darn good at this also. But most right, if you try to take your mouse or your cursor and draw on your laptop, man, is that ugly. I just don't like that at all. It doesn't. I can't do it. I just get too frustrated. Anyway. So enough of that. Where am I with this? There's that picture. Okay, so that's this picture. So we got that. So we talked about this stuff, so I'm not going to go over that anymore. We kind of did that exercise. I really like that little animal, Irina. I like that animal. I don't know why, but I do. Okay.
Is that a real animal? I've never.
I believe it's a real animal. I don't think.
Cute.
I haven't double checked. I haven't tried to prove it. But it came on a keynote slide, so I said, "What the heck? I'll use it." So I think it's real. I don't really know that it's real. Okay, so why is this personal stuff that I've been talking about so important? So here's a couple of references. Do you remember hearing about John Naisbitt? He did a book a long time ago called Megatrends, and then he did another book called High Tech, High Touch. He's done a bunch of books, and more than that. But you might want to. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a very old book.
Yes.
1970 something.
I think it could be. I'm not sure. Maybe in 1980.
Megatrends. Yeah, it's very
a long time ago. A good while ago. And in the Megatrends book, he talked about the idea of high tech, high touch. And I'm not sure if it's very articulate. So we'll try to articulate what it means for us, or at least for me. But you might want to check out these links. He also had a follow-up book because he mentioned high tech, high touch in Megatrends, but then he had another book called High Tech, High Touch, which some people really like and some people don't like very much at all. So it varies. But what is the key idea? So this is the quote I found. Whenever a new technology is introduced into society, that is to say, using Zoom all the time, there must be a counterbalancing human response. That is high touch, or the technology is rejected. Or at least we can say, Daniel, more usefully for us, it's less successful. The technology, the situation is less successful than we could otherwise be. So whenever we make it more about tools and technology and stuff, then we've got to make it also, to counterbalance it, we've got to make it more personal, more tactile, more whatever. Okay, so how do we describe this in a more useful way that we can do something about it, Irina? So here are some words. Okay. So I just want to say again that we're the kind of people, most of us, you and your colleagues and even your partners, they like technology. So I think there are other people in the world, like my wife, who doesn't really like technology at all. So as soon as she sees technology, often she just goes, I don't want to touch it. That's her reaction. Not always, she's using an iPhone and that kind of stuff, but she's the low technology end of the people that I know. But others of us, we particularly, I think, are into technology. That's why we're into the fields we're into. But even for us, in terms of communicating, I think this basic idea is still true, which is a little bit odd. Okay, so now I'm thinking when we say high tech, high touch, technology means, you don't have to agree with these ideas. This is just my hypothesis. Technology means smooth, steely, impersonal, standard, rational, or you might even say hyper-rational, dry, inorganic, which all, from a certain point of view, it depends on who you are, could be negative qualities, but also can be looked at as positive qualities, right? Steel is smooth and elegant and refined and all kinds of, you could think of it that way if you wanted to. Some people do think of it that way. There's some famous steel buildings in Manhattan that I find very beautiful, actually, from an architectural point of view. And they were famous at the time for being very different. Okay, what's the opposite of that? What's this personal thing that they're talking about, Cosmin? So I'm using these words: non-rational, uneven, unique, odd, emotional, intuitive, tactile, messy, organic, wet. And I think there's a strong hunger for these things, Irina, in life. We want to know, we want to see Daniel's child. It makes us think of Daniel as a real person, despite the fact that we're looking through them through that little bitty little square there on our screen. It makes it more real for us. So anyway, that's what I think. That's what I think that Nesbitt is at least partly talking about. What do you guys think? What do you all think about this high-tech, high-touch idea? Does it make sense to you?
Yep, makes sense.
Yep. So you have to try extra hard to be, I'll call it personal, or whatever you want to call it.
That's why all these apps like chat rooms and so on invented emoticons, right? And
yes. And I'm
ways to express your emotions.
Yes. And I think with your face, you can express it better than emoticons or whatever, how they pronounce them.
Of course, yeah.
I use that with my kids. They're all used to using that kind of stuff. And we laugh and we play with it. But, and all those little acronyms that they use, my kids use, well, I say kids, they're not as young as your child, Daniel. They're 22, 25, that kind of thing. But
grown-ups.
Yeah, well, almost. No, don't go that far. They're not really grown-ups. No. Okay, but whatever they are, they are. Okay, so so I suggest that we're trying to develop through this little thing, Cosmin, a personal connection, and where they forget. I kind of said this before, right? They forget the technology, and thus the communication, the collaboration, or whatever you want to call it, happens better. And so you're, in effect, over time, you're building a relationship. Okay, and that we've got to do it a different way, but we're still trying to do those things through this situation. Okay, now here's a different question. Okay, let's imagine that there's bad, there's good, there's better, there's best in collaboration. And maybe there's bad and worse and, worst. But there's some continuum of, not so good to pretty darn good collaboration. So what is good or better or best collaboration? And I'm making it a little bit more concrete by saying within the team, or maybe within the workshop, or maybe within the workshop can be used two ways, I think, with you all. But within that exercise that you do with your partners, or within a real workshop where you're training other Endava people, what would be what's the best example, Cosmin, of those that I mentioned? Probably a workshop with your partners, right? That would be a more important one and a more challenging one, I think. From what I know. Okay, so how would you characterize good, better, best collaboration in that kind of context? So to me, there's two questions. What would it be? And then how would you know that it was happening? In other words, how would you might say, I don't mean measure, but you know what I mean? Know that it's good or bad or better. So anyway, what do you think? What are you thinking, Irina? You've got something, I think.
Well, I guess in the end of the session, if you realize if it was a success, if I don't know, you get the outcomes you planned for, or maybe better than that, but at least the outcomes you planned for.
Yes.
And during, I guess you can see how the conversations are going, if people are engaged, if people are talking.
Yes.
If people feel comfortable, or if everything is difficult to do, you can see that, or
Yeah.
at least face to face.
Yes. And I want to point out something, Cosmic. She said conversations. So one of the awkward things about a conversation over Zoom is there's only 4 of us, right? So in real life, when we're in person, we have these little social rules that are a little bit different everywhere, but a lot the same, at least in Western Europe, North America, I think, about when is somebody finished and when can the next person start talking. Whereas in these kind of situations, there's a lag. And so we've got to pause longer between one person ending and another person beginning. Does that make sense, Daniel? And I think because of that, well, one reason, Cosmin, is we've got to wait for Daniel to press the space bar so he can get off of mute. But that's just the silly reason. But there's a different, whatever I want to call it, rhythm of going back and forth in the conversation. So we've got to get used to that. I think it feels awkward at first, Irina. Does that make sense to you? She says yes. Okay. So anyway, she made me think of that, Cosmin. Okay. Any other thoughts, Cosmin, about this good, better, best collaboration?
I think you summarized them well, and yeah, when you are doing you are in the middle, you can see the flow of the discussion and where if they are going through the objectives that you set up before the meeting, and then afterwards you can collect the feedback, and there are different other ways, let's say,
yes,
through the upper management, if they will be in the second workshop, or if they will have suggestions to improve what you are doing there with them.
Yes. So to me, one of the things about collaboration, I don't know, I'm not sure why I thought of it just now, I mean, is that more than one person is doing something at the same time. So one person might be talking, but another person's drawing, or one person's writing something on the board, but another person's writing something on paper, or one person's making a list, another person's drawing a picture. That multiple people are doing things at the same time, so that we're not waiting for the work to go single threaded through one person out of, let's say, 7. That at least multiple people within the 7 are all doing something actively at the same time that you can actually see. To me, that indicates better collaboration. Maybe I'm wrong. So for example, multiple people on the mural are writing down stickies at the same time. And maybe somebody also is talking at the same time. Like, okay, Daniel, you were thinking. What was your thought?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So it's very important to involve all the people and to have activities, not to be passive and just listening. And yeah, if I want to give something what I can see enthusiasm, safety, place to discuss, and yeah, I can see all the, I don't know, Scrum values. It's respect, courage, and positive conflict and everything. But you need to build this trust. It's very important.
Yes.
And of course you need a facilitator, and for the virtual you need more the facilitation skills and techniques and thinking before how to organize the discussions.
Yes. And I think my feeling is that being a good facilitator remotely is not a binary thing. It's a continuum. In other words, you start to learn about it and you learn more and more and you become better and better and better over time. But particularly one thing, I want to go back to kind of what I was saying before. Some of us who do our kind of work, there's a pretty good sized group of us that sometimes we use the term, Cosmin, we use the term introvert. We say some of us are extroverts and some of us are introverts. And we generally think of the introverts as quieter. At least we can say, in terms of what I'm talking about right now, that some of us if there's a pause in the conversation, some of us step in and start talking right away, and other folks wait and they have to think a bit, and only then after 3 or 4 beats do they start to say, well, wait a minute, I want to say something. But often the ones that are slower, if somebody else has already started talking, then they just lean back, so to speak, metaphorically or otherwise, and they don't ever say anything. So we've got to take extra care when we're in a remote situation to get everybody to talk. So some people, I remember reading this in a suggestion area for, I think I give this document to you, Daniel, on one of the murals. In Spotify, they say, if you've got a team, you've got to positively ask everybody to talk. You can't just say, anybody got anything more to say? You got to say, okay, Cosmin, you talk. Okay, Daniel, you talk. Okay, Joe, you talk. You got to positively ask them, and then you wait and give them a moment to think about what they want to say, which is, it feels, Irina, a lot slower than what we often do when we're in person. But they think, and I think that I agree, that it's generally speaking worth it. Right? I mean, sometimes you're in a time box and you can't do everything just the way you want, but it's worth thinking about. Okay, so to me, this is a real question, and I think it's a hard question. What is good collaboration? Okay, so let me go to the next. So my hypothesis. Most people like collaboration. Most everybody's going to say they like it, but I don't know how many people have really experienced great collaboration. By great collaboration, I kind of mean sort of what you said, Irina, that it leads to real success. But also it's real, that's the Italian language, Irina. I don't know what to call it, but this is happening. And that also leads to real success from what you want to call it, business point of view. And I do think that the culture of a lot of people is not to collaborate very much. I mean, they help each other, but they normally sort of like, if somebody's doing something, they let them do it and they wait for them. They're patient that way. And arguably too patient. So they want the collaboration to be non-threatening to everybody. And I think if people are really actively going, it's a lot of things going on at the same time. In a certain way, it makes some people uneasy. So anyway, that sometimes they dumb down the collaboration so it's non-threatening and almost meaningless. Meaningless is too strong. Maybe I think that's too strong. But you know what I mean? It's less than it could be. So that's my hypothesis. I'm not sure how true it is. I haven't done a scientific study. So I do think it's important, and it's more than just communicating. It's certainly not just one way. You use this word, I think, Daniel, the flow word. And I talked about simultaneity, although I didn't use that word. Everything happening all at once, and everybody's helping everybody else. Now, a friend of mine brought up the fact that collaboration and innovation are different things. I think so, to some degree. I do think some of the good innovation can happen individually. As we sometimes think of it, we come up with a brand new idea when we're in the shower in the morning, right? We go home, we have a hard day's work, we get a good night's sleep. Who knows what kind of dreams we have, but we wake up and we go like, I've got an idea. Or sometimes it comes to us, as we say, as we're having a cup of coffee or taking a shower. And then we bring that fascinating idea as one person back to the team. And so his argument, I'm not sure if he fully believes his argument, but I mean, what this other person is representing at least is his idea is the most important innovation is coming from a single person. But then each person comes with their ideas and then they have to be assembled together in a collaborative way. My view is a little bit different, Daniel. I think there can be individual innovation, but I think also there can be innovation just by collaborating. And also, I think he's right also that this is an assembly job also thing. But anyway, I want you to think about that. I don't know that collaboration is the end all and be all of everything. There's time and a place to do individual work. And we want to have a rhythm, I think, Cosmin, between doing individual work and then coming in and collaborating. And this idea that we have to be on our Zoom collaborating 8 hours a day, I don't think is a correct idea. First of all, I don't think it's sustainable. Kinesthetically, I guess, or in terms of mind attention. Your brain needs time to turn off. But anyway, some sort of flow between individual work and collaborating, and innovation has something to do with it. Okay, one more thing. So yes, we've just been talking about, are we to what degree are we together, and do we want to be together, and to what degree do we let people be alone? This is similar but different arena. I don't know why I'm thinking about this right now, but similar and different between having the whole group and then having breakout groups. Right? There's in your exercise, if you're teaching, for example, you want to have some time where you have breakout groups and some time where the whole group comes back together and you might say cross-fertilizes.
Yeah.
I wanted to put those ideas out to you. So you might want to start to articulate with them and have them participate, whoever them are. What do we mean by good collaboration? What does that mean? What do we think that looks like? And then hopefully they get to buy into it. And then you need to try to make it as tangible as possible so they can try to see, what they're buying into, and then how would they actually start to do it, or how would they do it better? So anyway, I suggest that to you. Okay, so now I'd like to do this on the mural, if you don't mind. What holds back collaboration? What holds back collaboration? Okay, so let's go to the mural. I think I've got a little thing set up for that on that same mural. Where'd it go? Go there. Is it there? No, it's not that one. What happened to it? Okay, to get rid of
X on the right hand.
Yeah, it's on the right.
that one.
The
Impediments, right?
Impediments, yeah.
Let me, okay, you found it? Okay, you go ahead and write stuff for like 2 minutes. Everybody can write for like 2 minutes. What holds, it says impediments, right?
Yeah.
No, that's the definition of good collaboration. Yeah, it's impediments over here. Exactly. So I'll start to get closer now. So to be honest, I've just started thinking about what are the impediments to collaboration? And well, I already gave it away, Daniel, a little bit. I said one of them is that we're not having, particularly when we're remote, we're not having the right attitudes about it. But there could be other things. There definitely could be other things. Yes. Well, I'm assuming that's you, Irina, the different values between people in the group.
Yes, if I manage to actually type it correctly, yes.
Yes. Yeah, lack of trust. What else, Cosmin? Is this Cosmin over here with the black ones?
Probably.
Yes.
Black.
So I'm going to move you a little bit closer if you don't mind. A little bit. Oh, he's got the black ones. Ooh, not many people choose the black, Cosmin. Okay, cool. I have to get closer. I can't quite read.
I'm special. Yeah.
Yes, we knew that. So he says politics, lack of empathy, hierarchy, culture, the right moment of the day. That's interesting. I wonder what he means by that exactly. Okay, Cosmin, since I'm looking at yours, so give us an example of politics.
For collaboration.
Yes, in terms of collaboration, how does it impede?
You have a meeting and probably some participants there are there because they were escalated, for example.
Yes. Okay. Lack of empathy?
Lack of empathy is to care about the other's problems or what. I'm with you in a discussion, so I don't care about your problems. I only care about mine. So yes. I'm following my objectives.
Or maybe they don't even know you that well. They don't know where you're coming from. They don't know that you're like black, and so you're collaborating. You put black on the board. They go like, "Why are you putting black up there?" Whereas if they knew you, they go like, "Oh yeah, there's Cosmin. He's always here. He likes the black stuff." Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't know the person, it's hard to have empathy, right? Is one example. Not that there aren't plenty of
But also it can be from the role. If we are talking about work, maybe, okay, I'm a Scrum Master, I'm talking with a developer, and the developer doesn't have an empathy with the role of the Scrum Master, I don't know, or
yes.
him,
Okay.
or another developer, and so on.
Say something about hierarchy.
Hierarchy, it's let's say when you have that kind of management with more junior staff, I don't know, and I don't know, I'm not saying the bad manager doesn't share all the information, and he's just directing the junior without let's say having a learning experience, or I don't know, having more value out of it.
Yes.
Or fostering the innovation, collaboration ideas, and so on.
Yes.
Or having feedback on the other one. Yeah.
And at least to me, I'm not sure how true this is for you all, but for me, what I see is the manager tends to talk too quickly. The more junior person, whether they're introvert or extrovert, tends to talk less, and they both kind of support this idea that the manager should talk more, the junior person should talk less, and so that happens, and therefore there's less collaboration between the two just by having the hierarchy. And nobody's exactly trying to make that happen or whatever, but that's what's de facto happening. Okay, what's your favorite one, Irina? You got the pink ones, right? Which one?
The pink ones, yes.
Which one do you like the best?
I think
or dislike the best, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think one thing we don't really take into consideration many times is the fact that each of us has different values, or they value one thing more than others.
Yes.
And we expect people around us to value the same thing as us. So that's how we act, and that's how we try to collaborate. But collaboration doesn't mean just communicating or discussing the same topic, but also coming to a conclusion, building upon each other's ideas to get somewhere. So you basically build a road, a journey towards a conclusion or an idea or something.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, my favorite. Besides, well, when you don't understand the method of collaboration, or it's not clear where you want to end up, like the end goal or something. But yes. I think this one is my favorite. We value different things, and we expect the others to value the same things. And when they talk to us like, well, I don't care about what you value, that's all we hear about. Yes. Why is this just about something that he cares about more than you do?
Yeah.
And they were not necessarily exclusive one from the other. They probably work good together, or they could, but you only see that he doesn't care, that the others don't care about what you value more.
Yes. So let me share with you my reaction to that. One is let's just put it this way. I'm older than Cosmin. So now that I've become older, I'm now more and more expecting people to be unique and weird and wonderful in their own way. So the fact that we have different values, I'm less and less surprised by. But I have to say that I feel like I haven't done much to figure out, when I work with people, how do I identify my values and share them in a polite, respectful way? And then how do I identify and help them share their values? And then maybe we can, not always, but maybe we can hopefully respect each other's values and see the benefit of each of us looking at things from a different point of view. But anyway, so I'm not surprised that people have values, at least as much as I used to be, have different values, but I'm not sure if I'm very good at dealing with it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. You made me think about that. Okay, what was the biggest for you, Daniel?
For me, it's a complex one. I really believe in 5 dysfunction of a team and overcoming the 5 dysfunction of a team.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's test Cosmin. Let's test Cosmin and see if he can remember the 5 dysfunctions of a team. No, we won't do that. It's too late at night to do that to him, Daniel. But
yeah.
You remember one of them was trust, or lack of trust.
Yeah, the trust is the basis. Then it's, I think, commitment.
Yep.
Then it's accountability.
Yep.
And it's results, but I don't remember one. Yeah.
We're missing
the results
one.
is the I missed one. I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe communication was in there. I don't remember. But there were 5.
No, I can't remember. But yeah, even though I think you have to start with trust, and this comes with
Yes.
Conflict.
Yeah, a conflict is the other one. Yeah. So this
Yes,
is one
they
regard.
won't have
Yeah.
conflict. They don't have sufficient
Yeah,
trust.
avoid of conflict. Yeah. So you need, in order to, those are the impediments for collaboration. If you have those, also you need to have a facilitator. It depends what you want to obtain in the collaboration. If you want to I don't know, brainstorm, have more ideas, you split the people, and each of them will discuss by themselves. And then if you want to converge, you put people in groups and then merge the groups. So both of things, this is the 5 dysfunction, is about the people and the values and respect of them and collaboration between them. And the facilitation is helping a group of people to arrive to the right result.
Yes. Look at Cosme. He's doing the Italian language over there in the little box. You can see him doing it when he went like that. Okay, now let's do something. Let's do a little exercise. So here's what I'm going to recommend. That I guess I'll go to here first. So what we want to do is have you guys start to build an event together. Build an event together. What holds it back? I'm not going to do the mural thing. I do want to come back to that, but I'm not going to do that. Oops, not that. I want to do, okay. So we want to design an event, a little bit at least. We can design it more tomorrow. So I think you want it to be an event that, you all would do. I kind of want the 5-1-5, barely. We're going to be a little bit over if we go 5-1-5. Sort of thing. So we'll go 5 minutes, then we'll have a 1 minute sort of come back together, and then maybe we'll do the next 5 minutes tomorrow. But let's go into the mural. So I'll unshare this. We're going into the mural. Whoops, how do I find? Oh, here I am. Okay, so then we come out of this one. Now, if you're in the room, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to share the mural. Share the thing, right? Whoops, not that. The mural. Sorry. Share the, yeah, not the Keynote, the Firefox. Okay. Okay, so you see these murals in our room, right? Yes.
Yep.
So I also put in 3 templates. One says event planning, one says workshop planning, one says event plan model canvas. I don't, we talk some. I've done your kind of work some, but I'm sure I don't understand your situation, as well as I'd like to, and certainly not as well as the 3 of you do. But my guess was the event model canvas would be the most fun. This is similar to using some sort of a template in some sort of workshop with your clients, Daniel, right? Like we talked about when we had that other conversation, right? So you take one of these as a template, or as I think they call it template as well. So you open up, let me open up this one. So then you've got an idea, you can kind of define it. You can give the event a name. You can say, some things about it. And then you start saying, oh, what are the pains? What is the commitment? What is the expectation? What is the cost? What is the job to be done? These kinds of different categories, which may or may not be that relevant to your specific thing. So what I'm recommending is, if you take the template, find things that you glom onto that you really like, that are useful, at least in your opinion, and then ignore things that you think aren't going to help you. Okay, does this one seem okay to work with for 5 minutes? Irina?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so here you go. Now, I, as a facilitator, can put a 5-minute thing right here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
We can
now,
see it.
I'm going to unshare in terms of Zoom, and you guys are in there, right? You're in that mural. So work together for 5 minutes and start to define an event. Now, you could spend 4 minutes deciding which event is it going to be, but try not to. Try to go, pick an event. I want to do a workshop on X or whatever it is, and then start working on the event together. And I'll be watching you in the mural more than anything else.
Okay.
So whose event is it going to be? Irina's or Daniel's or Kuzmin's?
How do can we modify these elements? Because I
Yes.
can't. I don't.
Yes, you can, can't you?
I don't think so.
I thought you could. No? Let me just.
Yes, I agree.
I did not
ABC
double check
workshop,
that.
yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. I messed it up. Let me fix that for you. Okay.
They look like they're locked or something. I don't know.
Yes, they are. I think I blew that. Let me, whoops. And let me fix that for you. Okay, so I'm going to just delete that one. And then what I'm going to do is create a new mural. Can you see me? You don't see me doing that. So just for fun's sake, let me show you how I do that. So you're here in the room. You say create new mural. Over here it says event something another, right? So I can create a template, and it's based on the event model canvas. And then I create the mural, and it should be that all the pieces and parts, and I'll call it, event IDC. That is to say, the event for the three of you. And now you've got that mural to work with. And that should allow you to modify those. Whoops. Okay, now I got to, hold on. Maybe I didn't fix it enough. Dang it, I should have checked this out more. Excuse me, Irina. So let me prove to myself that I can make this thing work. I've got to get closer. I delete that thing. What did I do?
Maybe you need to give us rights to edit it.
It could be, but I think I can't edit it myself yet.
And I think it's unlocked somehow. You can click on.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
On the panel.
There's an unlock all.
Yes.
Okay, I'll unlock all.
Right.
Where is that?
On the. You just right click on the canvas anywhere. It doesn't matter where.
Yep. And unlock.
And you have unlock all.
Yeah.
And you're super facilitator, so you should be able to do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Oh yes, that works.
No, you guys are experts on this thing. Okay, now. So now I can change the event name. I don't know if you can see that, right? Okay, so now I'll stop sharing and you guys are playing. Excuse me. Okay, now let's go for 5.
Yeah, give us the 5 minutes. So we can collaborate and talk and everything, yes?
Yep.
Not just okay. Yes, guys, ABC workshop. I agree. Yeah, let's do that. Who's writing it? So who is it designed for? Product and delivery teams, or how do we?
Okay.
And development teams, if we want to, as you wish. Delivery teams is fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who has the stake in this event? I think those are the product team or the product owner. If we want to keep it
keep it simple. We have 5 minutes.
Okay. Who is it designed by? Yeah. Okay. Captain. It's fine.
Okay. Now look at the rest of it and decide where you want to go first or where you want to go next. It's got a lot of stuff there.
Okay, let's go to gains because I think it's important to know what you gain from it. It's in the right-hand corner, smiley face. Let's think of free gains. What do you gain from it? So we think of so this is the event. Yes, it's not a training for the event, but the actual event happening with a client. So that means that what?
So I'm going to change the name to client event on what? Client event what? On about what? Is it going to be like a planning?
No,
planning, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so planning. Okay.
Planning.
So I changed the name. You can change it again.
ABC means accelerated the business case. So the end goal is for the client to take the decision if he will invest or not in that idea. So he will see how much it will cost, and then he will put the benefit in balance and see if it is okay or not. So.
Okay, so what would be the gain? The gain is they say yes.
It's yes, no, or we
First
need
of all,
more.
the gain for the client is they do a brainstorm of defining their initial product. High level, but it is a roadmap for the product.
Okay.
The second gain would be a kind of uncertainty cost, a cost for that.
Okay.
And a very clear view of what the uncertainty and complexity of the product or developing that product. So areas of uncertainty, things we don't know, unknowns.
You want to call them risks?
Yes, I guess you can call them risks.
Well, you don't have to. I'm just suggesting. I will suggest one other gain for the client, which is a better relationship with Endava.
Well,
it's actually a gain for Endava as well, but we won't go there.
Yes, that's the gain for Endava as well. It is, I mean, any collaboration event you do with a client is a gain.
At the top and do a undo. You can undo things and it goes back. Yeah. The upper left-hand corner has an undo icon.
Control Z.
Say again?
It's Control Z. You don't need to go to the menu.
You know all about this. Okay. All I know is the undo.
No, this is interesting. Entering behavior, experience journey. What do we do next? Which one, guys, you want to do next? Entering and exiting behavior sounds interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know what is this one, so it's good to do it.
Entering behavior before this event. How would you describe his/her current behavior? What are his/her present skills, knowledge level, active connections?
I think it's a persona or so, what? It's like a persona part.
Yeah, they have another template that deals with personas. Just so you know, I don't see personas on there though, on this one.
Yeah, but how would you describe his/her current behavior of the event, or
without identifying?
If you read the line, what new skills, knowledge, attitude, and connections he or she acquired. So after this event, what is his/her attitude in public? How would you describe his/her appearance?
Yeah, at the very top though, it says Daniel before this event. So these are incoming behaviors, not exit behaviors. So for example, do we want them to be at a certain state or a certain step before they actually start the event?
Prerequisites for the attendees, like
in a
entering
sense.
behavior.
Maybe. Anyway, what do you think is most useful for you all? Don't get too.
Well,
so I think the PO should be well prepared to express the vision and what he wants to do.
Yeah. Yes.
Something
okay.
like this.
Yeah. Write it down.
If the PO is not prepared, it's not going to be a good event. It totally makes sense. We've identified the right people to come. Well, I'm guessing from my experiences. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes. Do we have the right audience for it?
Yeah, exactly. So identify people is enough for me, as long as you know what it means.
Yeah.
The right people, either one. Yep. Okay.
Okay. What else is it important? Do people understand the process or what do we want to achieve with this workshop?
Communicate the goal.
Yes.
Well, hers is more about the process or the thought. I mean, yours is more about process than result.
Yes, but their process and result. Have we communicated rightfully the process and the goal we're trying to achieve? We want to achieve.
And then there's other, it occurs to me that the people have some degree of buy-in.
Is very important.
Probably some agenda up front and set expectations.
And yeah, another thing is this: who will facilitate and where will facilitate. What is the time?
Who's doing what? Roles in the workshop.
Okay. So the time's up. For now, we can work on this some more tomorrow. We'll leave it there. We're not going to lose it. So we'll work on this some more tomorrow. But let's take one moment. What we've done so far with this template, what's your biggest takeaway, Cosmin? On this little exercise?
From the template or from the exercise?
The exercise using the template. I mean, it could be the template itself, but including the exercise. So any of those things together. What's your biggest takeaway?
It's interactive. So, but I think if you have people that don't know each other, they can spend all the time to discuss who will start first or who will say something before doing.
It could happen. It could happen.
Execution, yeah.
But from a design point of view, a higher level design point of view, if you want to use one of these templates, you want to set it up so, as you say, Cosmin, it becomes interactive for them. They're all interacting at the same time, and it leads to a good conversation, but also it enables them to document something useful. So it's not just the documentation, it's not just the conversation, it's the combination. And since we noticed this, I'm going to add to that. I hope I'm not taking away something Irina or Daniel wanted to say, but set it up so that the right things are locked and the right things are unlocked beforehand. It makes a difference.
Do you think it's a good idea to share these? I mean, it took us a little bit of time to
I thought so too,
at the canvas and read it.
Exactly. I thought so too. And that's why I wanted you to look at it before, but you didn't have a chance. And I didn't think of it early enough. But I do definitely recommend in real life, you would want to share these things with them. Maybe have it, as you kind of say, Irina, show them a little bit of the process. We're going to use this template, this document, this mural thing. This is what it is. This is what it's going to look like. This is how we're going to work through it, blah, 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 blah. And then when they come to the meeting, they're more prepared and they become more effective. Okay. Was that your biggest takeaway, Irina?
Well, there's a drawback to that because we had that discussion in our group and we said, let's send things beforehand, even videos to explain stuff. Yep. And the biggest drawback in that is that it's worse than it happened now. None of us looked at it beforehand. But if you have several people that have done it and a few that have never seen this canvas because they didn't look at it beforehand, then you get some really frustrated people who have already spent some time doing it. So that's not great either.
Good point. So I'll just comment on that. So what I do in my course to get people prepared to come to my course on Certified Scrum Master is I have a half-an-hour session ahead of time, and they all have to come. They don't all come, but they all are supposed to come. And I teach them how to use the basics of Zoom, how to use the basics of Mural, and get them up to speed to that degree, which is similar to what we're talking about. Not quite the same thing, but similar. And we do it together as a kind of meeting, but it's a short meeting. It has a specific purpose, and it's kind of the purpose is to get them prepared to then do the real meeting. So I'm recommending that. It may or may not work for you. But, okay, so what's your biggest takeaway, Daniel? From this?
Preparation is the key.
Yes. So I apologize for that. I thought, well, never mind. Who cares what I thought? It didn't work the way I thought it was going to. But you guys overcame it pretty carefully. Pretty quickly, I mean. I was impressed by that. I was very impressed by that. Have you guys been working in Mural a lot? Or is it so similar to Miro?
It's similar to Miro.
It's Endava. You can recommend us. So
yes, there's only geniuses at Endava. Exactly, Cosmin. Okay, so to me, I've really enjoyed what we've been doing. Think about what you learned. I will send you the slide deck. I will try to fix at least some of the typos in the meantime, but I'll send you the slide deck and I'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock my time, which is
7 p.m.
9
p.m.
It's the same as today, right?
Yeah.
And I hope we get to see Isabella again tomorrow evening.
But I don't think you sent the invitation for tomorrow. Is the same Zoom?
I have not. Oh, it's going to be a new invitation.
Okay.
With a new, I mean, the Zoom is very careful about security now, or more careful anyway. And so it has to, well, I'm not sure, but it's going to be a new password. So, and I do that partly, you all, the three of you, wouldn't be confused, but I think some people will get confused. Which invitation am I going to click on? So that's why I don't have the habit of doing that. I wait until this.
Did I need a password? I didn't need a password to get into this meeting.
It has a password, but the password is embedded in the URL.
Ah, okay, okay.
That's why you didn't need to type it in. Anyway.
I thought I'm gonna find a security breach now.
Okay. Anyway, good to see you. We'll see you tomorrow at whatever time. It's 2 p.m. my time. I know that part. Have a good night.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you, Joe.
Bye.
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 Bye.